Welcome to Am I the Arsehole? As read by a Brit. Today's story is from eculilumab. Am I the arsehole for ruining my mum's 40-plus year friendship over friend's freeloading daughter? The reason I chose this is because until very recently I was a freeloading daughter, so I may be slightly biased. Mum's friend's daughter was moving to my city and her new job was starting 3 weeks before her lease. She desperately texted asking to stay in my tiny one-bedroom flat for 3 weeks. For context, I haven't talked to this girl for 15 plus years, but our mums are besties of 40 plus years. Because of this, I felt a lot of pressure into saying yes to letting her stay. The daughter, as I learned, is a bratty, spoiled 23-year-old who expects people to do everything for her for free. Oh no, this woman's describing me. While she spends her parents' money on $900 shoes and $1,000+ designer homeware. Oh god, okay. First part of the sentence, me. Second part of the sentence, not me. Red flag number 1. After I agreed to let her stay, I proceeded to ask her on the details of her arrival, assuming she would be considerate enough to give me advance notice. Turns out, she only gave me literally 2 days of notice of her 3-week stay. Isn't 2 days advance notice? So how much more notice did she need? We need more context. You maybe just need to get like a few things from the shops to fill up your fridge a little bit, but I think 2 days is fine. Red flag 2 to 6. Oh, there's like a list. She proceeds to freeload off me for almost an entire month, which you agreed to, living entirely for free in my flat, which you agreed to. She did not offer to cover any apartment costs, which admittedly she could have done. She threw away my food from the counter, which she was probably just trying to be helpful. Broke items, including my travel memorabilia, so she's clumsy, how dare she. Left moldy food on my dining table. That does sound strange. Lost my spare house keys within 5 hours of her arrival, then asked to take my personal key to get in or out of the flat. I had to spend an evening running around Home Depot and locksmiths. Again, I would personally say breaking items, assumingly accidentally, and losing things, it does sound like she's just a kind of scatty-brained person, but she's not malicious. She's not doing it on purpose. She's just a very young person, and she may have only literally just moved out of home. I think losing keys is just not, doesn't make you a bad person. Making a mistake doesn't make you a bad person. And also, what was the other option? She said, "Can I please have your keys?" I assume because she was going out and you were staying in or something. It's not like your personal keys. It's just the other keys. And if you're going to be inside the house, she's like, "Can I have your keys then?" And I understand why you wouldn't want to give her your keys. But it's not, again, it doesn't show that she's a bad person for asking, "Can I please have some keys to get in the house?" Like, "I'm sorry, I lost your keys, but I still fundamentally need keys." Red flag number 7, the falling out. I like how this one has a title. The falling out came with a weekend away to Maine. I planned for my own vacation. When she asked my weekend plans, I mentioned the trip. She then invited herself to tag along, which for her, I guess, means free. I paid for the rental car, the hotel, the gas money, the national park entry fee, and drove the entire trip, around 12 hours of driving in total. Okay, that is pretty intense. When it came time to pay for gas or any shared trip costs, she turned the other way. But then I watched her buy a $40 disposable camera, $8 lattes. What? That's crazy. And other exorbitant things for herself. Exorbitant is a big word. After the trip ended, I split the trip costs in half, $200 each, and told her she can pay me back when able. She got mad and gaslit me. I will say people use gaslighting too often, but let's hear if she did. Saying she didn't think she would have to split the costs. That's not gaslighting. That she is not in a position to split. That's not gaslighting. And that she contributed in small ways. Again, not really gaslighting. I.e. paying a $4 parking pass and 1 coffee. None of that was gaslighting, just FYI. Gaslighting would be where she said she did pay for the trip, or she said that you said it was okay for her to come for free, or you agree to cover all the costs or something like that. Gaslighting isn't anything that you just listed. I let out all of my frustrations and ended by calling her a freeloader. She left the apartment angry and got her parents to book her a hotel room. I do like that detail. She got her parents to do it. Mums were super mad and their friendship is now quite tense. Oh. From my end, maybe I should have communicated problems from red flag number 1, which wasn't really a red flag, said no more, or been explicit about the trip costs. I also do think maybe you should have set the boundaries of sharing the flat. Essentially, you should have said, okay, like, this is what I expect of you. And also, if you want someone to pay for things, you do have to tell them you have to pay for something. Otherwise, like, some people just think, oh, this person's so nice. I was trying to avoid conflict and never thought someone would be bratty enough to freeload my vacation. Am I the asshole? I would say you're not the asshole, but I would say it's just, you could have been a lot clearer. You don't say to someone, you can stay at my flat if you don't want them to stay in your flat. And also, don't let someone come on your holiday with you. Just say, no, sorry, I booked one hotel room. And say, oh, if you want to come, you have to book your own hotel room. Just all of this could be avoided. Just be proactive as opposed to reactive. So I wouldn't say you're the asshole, but I wouldn't say you're not an asshole. The comments seem a little bit split between not the asshole and everyone's the asshole. Step into the fairy ring has commented a little essay about each point and has made very, very good points. So in terms of red flag number 1, where she gave 2 days notice, which again is notice, Step into the fairy ring says, so she was desperately trying to find housing in time for the start date of her new job. She was getting so desperate that she reached out to a family friend she hadn't seen for 15 years because she was running out of time. Doesn't sound like she was being deliberately inconsiderate and not giving you enough notice, which I agree, although you could also say this implies that no one else maybe wanted her to stay. But it is interesting to also kind of say, oh, she's a freeloader, but she didn't just say, mummy, daddy, book me a hotel. She was trying to find like any other solution. But so you can kind of see it multiple ways. But yes, I don't think 2 days notice is inconsiderate considering the context. Red flag number 2 to 6, Step inside the fairy ring says, you should have had a conversation with her to set expectations. Personally, I don't expect guests, who are between homes to cover any additional expenses. If that's something you wanted her to do, you need to communicate that. 100% agree. Although I think it is also nice to offer, or typically a guest, like if you're there for a while, you would offer some sort of cost to, you're having showers, you're using heat and electricity. You're also, often people offer to cook or clean. You offer to do some sort of chore. So I do think she should have offered something. But the person does actually say that, they threw away things. So I think they may have been trying to clean and also destroying things, breaking some ornaments. They may have been cleaning and dropped the ornament while cleaning, or dusting or something. So there's kind of some context might be missing that the person was trying to help out, but it's just no actual physical money was exchanged, which might be the problem. In terms of splitting the trip costs, Step inside the fairy ring says you can't just decide after the fact to bill her when that was never discussed and expect it to work out for you. That's super true. You can't just be like, oh, I'm going to go on this holiday. Your person who I assume thinks that maybe you're her friend or is trying to befriend you is like, oh, I'll come along too. That sounds lovely. And then at the end you go, by the way, that would cost you $200. Thank you. Step inside the fairy ring. This is not gaslighting. It isn't. It's true she didn't think she would have to split the cost because you never told her she would. You can't just demand money from people. You should have had a conversation with her before anything else. Oh, wow. You sound incredibly judgmental. And while a bit of frustration was probably warranted here, you've taken well beyond what is necessary. Everyone's the arsehole. Mostly you, though. Oh, I like Step inside the fairy ring.